All right, so good evening. So I hope you have watched what we did yesterday. All right. So
Yes.
okay, cool. So we talked about if statements, conditionals and all this kind of thing. So today I will talk about loops. Let me check. So I'll talk about loops, and then I think I'll talk about loops. Then I think probably that will be all for today. Then from tomorrow, or maybe from Monday, we'll start DOM element. All right. So loops. All right. So loops loop is an English word. All right. So it means to iterate over something. Like iterate is another English word. Like to, I don't know. So just check your dictionary. So basically, what we use loop to do is um it's okay. So basically, loops are used to execute, functions. When we add a function, all right, function are like if you want to have a block of code that you want to be able to reuse, all right. So functions is for reusability, right? But um loops are used to execute a block of code a certain number of times, right? So I will show you what that means, all right. So let's say we want to print out so let's go to our text editor. All right, so I'm just gonna comment all this out. All right, so loops. So let's say that we want to print out hello world like 5 times. All right, so we want to do like clg hello world, like clg hello world. But because of copy and paste, let's say we can copy it, that kind of thing, that kind of thing, that kind of thing, and we have like this. So you will see that this is taking, number one, it's taking a lot of lines, and it's taking a lot of time for us to be able to write this code. All right. So loops can help us to like print out this 5 times by just writing fewer lines of code. All right. So imagine that we want to write console.log 100 times. Imagine that. So we have to be copying and pasting console.log, console.log, so console.log, console like 100 times. So that's like not efficient. All right. So loops are basically used to um like execute a number of code, like a block of code over a period of time. All right. So we have different types of loops. All right. So in JavaScript, we have, I think for now, let's say we have 5 loops. All right, 5 kinds of loops. All right, we have the for loops, for loop. All right, so we have for. So let me just copy something from here. All right, then so let's comment this out. All right, so we have the for loop. All right, so it loops through a block of code a number of times. All right, so we have the for in loop. All right, I will show you the example of everything. Loops through the properties of an object. All right, so you already know what an object is. All right, an object is either the objects that we have, all right, or maybe maybe an array. An array is also a type of object. All right, and we have for of loops through the values of an iterable object. All right, so then while loop loops through a block of code while a specified condition is true. So I will show you everything. All right, so these are the examples of for loops that we have, examples of loops that we have. All right, so the first one, for loop, right? So for loop is for, right? We have um so I will just copy another thing. All right, so that I can use that to explain it then. So this is the format for a for loop. All right, so this is like the template for a for loop. All right, so this statement one, this statement two, this statement three. Okay, so statement one is all this, well, all of them don't have to be there actually. So statement one is executed one time, all right, before the execution of the code block. Okay, so you will see what that means, all right. Statement two defines the condition for executing the code block, all right. So statement, I was conditionals, you already know about conditions, all right. So you want to loop for a certain number of time, all right? So the condition that it will check to see whether it should continue looping, right? Because, for example, let's say we want to loop 100 times. We don't want it to continue to loop forever. It will crash our system, all right? So once you loop for 100 times. So how will you know that it's 100 times? So that's what statement two is there for, all right? And statement three is executed every time after the code block has been executed. All right. So statement one execute before the code block once. It only execute once before the code block executed. All right. Then we have the second one, the conditionals. All right. And then we have the condition. All right. Then we have the condition for continual running. And then statement three will run after every execution of the code block. All right. So how does that happen? So let's say that want to okay. So this is usually for setting the initial value of our counter, all right? So what will show where we are, all right? Then statement two is our condition, all right? So I is equals to 0. We are now saying that if I is less than or equal to 100, all right? And then we want to add to this I, all right? So we say I plus plus. So I already assume that you should know what this plus plus means, because so this plus plus adds one to it, right? So this runs first, all right, and then this runs, then this code block runs, all right. So we want to say console.log hello world, all right. So this runs, okay. Then after this runs, then this runs, all right. Then it adds to it, okay. So if we run this and we see what we have, we see that the reason why this is, you see that this is 101. So let me just do something, all right? So we want to print from 1 to 100, okay? So then we do plus I, okay? So I is the value. So we save it, all right? So when we check this, what do you see? You see that this is the initial value, 0. So it runs 0. It sets I to equals to 0, all right? Then it runs the code, all right? So I is 0 here, okay? So I is 0, all right? Then it runs the, then it adds to it, all right? So it runs the second one. Then it runs this, all right? It adds to it. This only runs once, all right? So after it has finished running, it checks the condition. So I is 0 here. It prints out 0, all right? So it checks, is I less than or equal to 0? Yes, it is. So what does it do? It adds to it, okay? Then it continues like that, all right? So you can, any code that you want to run, all right? So anything that you want to run a certain number of times, you can put it here, okay? So you can just put I here, all right? Then you can go here, and what do you have? We have it printing out the value of our high, right? So loops are basically used to like execute a block of code. So let's say that you can have as many code that you want to run inside that thing a certain number of time, okay? And then that keeps running it, all right? So uh, that about for loop. So it's do you understand? Let me just confirm.
Yes, I understand.
All right, cool. So the next one is so basically, well, let me just continue to the next one. All right. So the next one, the for in loop, loops through the properties of an object. All right. So what do we have? So let's say that we have an object. All right. So var obj, all right, equals to name, Daniel. All right. Gender, female. All right. So let's just use one character. All right. Then age, maybe 78. All right. So then we want to loop through the properties of this element. All right. So what do? We have 4. Okay. So we have 4. Then you just take an arbitrary variable x, all right, in, all right, for in, then you put the object, all right, you put the name of the object, okay, then you can say clg x, all right. So if you check, so let me just comment this out, all right. So if you check what we have, all right, you see that it's printing out the properties, all right. So it's printing land name, gender, and age, all right. So that's how to use that, all right. So it's used to print the properties of an object, okay. So if you have an object and you want to print out the properties, all right, you just do x in, so this is 4 in, then the object, all right. So that's 4 in, then 4 of, all right. So 4 x of, then obj, okay. So that's not how to use it, right. So that's how to use it, all right. So 4 of, okay. So off is used for an array, all right. So off is used for an array, this is used for an object, all right. Then off is used for an array, all right. So let's say we have an array, we have Daniel, Niel, all right. We have Justina, something like that. We have Jane, all right. Then you want to loop through this guy, you're saying iterable object, all right. So we'll do for x, then you have array, all right. So what do you have? Console.log x, right? So let's say that you have an array and you want to loop through the values, all right? You want to loop through the values that are inside, all right? So use 4 of. So what do we have? It's list out Daniel, Justina, and Jane, all right? So that's 4 of, all right? Do you understand the difference between 4 of and 4 in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me show us. So you can loop another, this thing is a string, all right. So a string is, it can be some of the functions that you can apply on an array, all right, you can apply on a string too, okay. So so let's say that we have then we have my name, all right. So if you log this out, what does it do? It print out all the characters, all right. So that's also, all right. So while loop is sort of like a variation of for loop, right? It's similar to for loop, all right. So 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 while loop runs, while a condition is true, all right. So it's like, just think of all these things like English, all right. While something is true, continue to run something, okay. So that's like while loop, all right. So this is while, all right, condition, all right, then block of code to run, all right. So this is the format of a while loop, all right. So while, then you put a condition here, all right, and then block of code to run while this condition is true, all right. So basically, if you have like so you declare a variable, So you declare a variable. All right. So so I'll just show you an example now. All right. So let's say let's make use of the for loop. All right. So let's use for loop as an example. All right. So we have a condition. So the condition is while I is less than or equal to 100. All right. So what happens? You want to, so first you have to like set this equals to 0. You have to initialize it, right? So the same way we initialize the I inside the for loop, all right? But you do this outside, all right? Then you set the condition, okay? Then the block of code that you want to continually run, which is to print I, all right? But if you run this like this, you will see that it's not adding, there's no way for it to continue to add to this I. So this one will give us like an infinite loop, right? So this will continue to run and then it will crash our system. So you have to have a way of increasing it, all right? The same way you are increasing it inside the for loop, you have to have a way of increasing it here, all right? So you do it like this, all right? So when you check this is not going. If I tried that one, it will probably break my system. So, and I don't want to stop this video. You can try it on your own and not add that condition for it to stop looping. All right. So if you don't add the condition for it to stop looping, it will continue to like it will break your system. Like your system will just go off. All right. You can try it on your own. Okay. But basically you add the condition to it, all right, and then it's almost the same as a for loop, all right. So I hope you understand that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So then the do while loop, all right. So the do while loop is the same thing as is almost the same thing as a while loop, all right. So you do something while a condition is true, all right. So you say do maybe CLG, maybe I, all right. Then you add while, then you now add the condition I is less than or equal to 100. Okay. But here now, so it's still using this declaration that we did. All right. So we set I equals to 0. All right. So you have to declare I. All right. So the difference between this is that this will always run. This will run at least once. All right. But this is possible for this not to run at all. All right. So this will run at least once. All right. So basically, so if let me just show you what I mean by that. So let's say I say that while I is less than 0, all right, so that means that is only negative value, so this will never run, right? Because it will first check the condition and it will see that, oh, this I, which is 0, is not less than 0, then it will not run. But if you do the same thing for this one, all right, while I is less than 0, it will first log out the 0 before coming to check this condition. All right, so that's like the major difference between do while loop and while loop. All right, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think that's like basically that. So that's like basic of loops. But the thing is, there are other functions that you can apply to. There are other special functions of an array that you can apply. All right, that you can use. All right, that are like they are not for loop or while loop or something. All right, but they are also used for looping over the elements of an array. All right, so you can check out those. Okay, so then what else again? What else again? Uh, so there's something, you can read up on break and also on the continue statement. All right, so I think that I've talked about the let, I've talked about const, right? So what else again? So I think that's like basically everything thing that I want to talk about for the basics of JavaScript as a language. All right. So there won't be a class tomorrow. All right. So that you can catch up, not catch up, right? But so that you can read up more on some other things. Right. So on Monday we'll start with HTML DOM, right? Document Object Model. Right. So that's when we start interacting our HTML and then our JavaScript. All right. But it's good that you understand first how JavaScript works. All right, because we're using some of these things as you are working with our HTML. Right. So is that cool?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. So that's all. All right. So have a wonderful night. So I'll send the recording now. I'll upload the recording. All right. So
Okay, sir.
all right. So we'll meet on Monday. Okay. All right.
All right, sir. Bye, sir.